Welcome to Tidy Up Texan, and I am Nicole. And today we are reclaiming the living room, getting all of the clutter out, deep cleaning, and finally organizing these shelves. If you are new here, hi, welcome. I recently started this channel back in December. I am a mother of two adult sons. I am a former professional carpet and upholstery cleaner. And now I am a disabled homemaker, minus the cooking. I do not cook, I clean. And we purchased this home a little over 2 years ago with my mother in law, who has now passed. And my sister in law, who also resides with us, is now the other half of the owner. So we are in the middle of moving my sister-in-law down into my mother-in-law's former room. So most of the stuff you see here today are items that are being transferred from room to room and has temporarily landed in the living room. So my plan is going from section to section, working my way around the entire room, removing whatever doesn't belong in here, and cleaning every inch of this floor. Oh, and if you didn't already know, we have a lot of animals in this house. 12 to be exact. My sister-in-law's animals who reside downstairs are 3 cats and 2 dogs. And our animals stay upstairs. We have 4 cats and 3 dogs. So needless to say, there is a lot of fur in this house. And a lot of it gets trapped under the furniture. So I wanted to make sure I got under everything. If you're wondering what I'm using on the mop, I am using a little bit of Pine Sol and a little bit of bleach. I like to make sure everything gets clean and sanitized. And don't mind the dining room behind me. We will get to that next week. As much as I'd like to get to that today, I really have a bad back. So this living room really took it out of me, and it took a couple days for me to recover. All right, the first section is complete. Moving on to this empty section. We're just going to get the floors nice and clean. And I had planned to put those nesting tables that you see off to the left in this little empty wall right here. But I ended up moving it elsewhere. I didn't like how it looked, so it is not going to stay there. There was a bunch of old files of my mother-in-law's set onto these nesting tables, which my sister-in-law still needs to go through. So I'm just going to throw them in a box at the entryway so she can go through them. And these tables were super dusty. They had never been cleaned since we brought them in. They were sitting in my mother-in-law's room. My mother-in-law was disabled, so she wasn't able to get any of that clean, so we are going to be cleaning it now. But one of the nesting tables was falling apart as I was cleaning it. So eventually I will have to go grab some wood glue and get this table fixed. And you see my little helper there, that's August, the little Siamese cat. He is still kind of a kitten. He's a little over a year old. And he is just curious about everything. He watched me clean. He chased after the vacuum. My sister-in-law, she actually found him on the side of the road when he was just a little tiny baby. And he is just a handful. He is best friends with my sister-in-law's two little corgis. They absolutely love him. That's it, their baby. This little guy, he terrorizes the other kitties. But on the same day, he was in my sister-in-law's room downstairs here. There is a hanging lamp above the bathtub. It's like one of those pendant lights, and he must have saw a bug or something. He parkoured off that light and shattered it into the bathtub. And we know he's the guilty party because he's the only one that acts a fool. These boxes were actually shoved into that closet behind me, but it is tornado season here in Texas, so we need that closet to be empty at all times because that is our safe spot. And the week before, we had a couple of tornadoes come pretty darn close, so everything just got pushed right out to this section here. Unfortunately, I can't make any decisions on where this stuff goes, so I'm just going to put it aside for my sister to go through and put away. This little TV right here, we are going to actually put that in our bathroom. Ryan is a huge, huge Dodger fan, and he wants to be able to take a bath and watch his Dodgers. So that TV is going to be going in our bathroom for him to watch. So none of us are a fan of the wall color or the tone of the wood and are thinking about painting, but we can't decide on what color to paint. So I would love to get your feedback. What would you put in a living room that wouldn't clash with the fireplace? And white isn't an option. I was thinking maybe a soft gray and maybe a sage green on the woodwork, but I don't know. What do you think? This is the closet I was saying is our little safe space. It is actually under the stairs. And it's pretty big, but not quite big enough for three adults, three big dogs, two little dogs, and seven cats. But fortunately, we have another small bathroom down here as well. So we use that little room also. But the bathroom is very, very tiny. It's probably about 3 foot by 4 foot. But one day we will get a shelter put in. That is the goal. All right, section 3 is complete. Moving on to behind the little sofa here, clearing out this space and cleaning up these floors. And the only thing I'm keeping back here is that printer stand, the shredder, and some cat toys. That little pink basket you see on the floor is for all the kitties. And the printer was super, super dusty, so I'm going to clear out the shelves, wipe them down, clean off the printer itself, and then, of course, vacuum up all this fur and give it a good mopping. So, my friends, I am not typically somebody who talks a lot. So, doing these voiceovers can be a little tough for me. I don't ever know what to say. In fact, I am so quiet. People used to ask me if I was mad or they thought I was stuck up because I just wouldn't talk to anybody. But growing up, I was painfully shy, very socially awkward, horrible social anxiety. And when I do try to talk to people, my brain just goes blank. I have no idea what to say. And that hasn't changed much. So it literally takes longer to do these voiceovers than it does to actually do the cleaning, which is one of the reasons it took me so long to start doing these videos. I've been wanting to do YouTube for years. I absolutely love cleaning and I love watching cleaning videos. But when I watch other creators, I am just blown away about how they can easily talk. And I'm here racking my brain trying to figure out what to say. So, anyways, I've got this table cleared off, and underneath is a bunch of workout equipment that I'm going to relocate. I just don't like how it looks under this table. And although I start putting everything back on the table, I think it looks too cluttered, so I am going to relocate those items as well. I'm not a big fan of a bunch of stuff sitting on surfaces. Couple things for decoration, that's fine, but there was just way too much stuff on this table. You couldn't even set down a glass. So once I get to the shelves behind me, I'll grab a couple little knickknacks and put them on this little table. I had planned on vacuuming the sofa once I was done with the floors. However, the vacuum battery died on me, so luckily I was able to finish all the floors. But my sister-in-law, when she got home, she ended up vacuuming the sofa for me. And this little side table right here, we're using as a coffee table just because at the moment we don't have anything to use as a coffee table. There are a couple coffee tables in our warehouse, but they need some desperate cleaning and repainting. So this is what we're going to use for now. And eventually, I would love to put a rug in here. We hadn't gotten one before because my mother in law was in a wheelchair, so we just needed to have all the floors cleared so that she can roll herself around with no issues. So having a rug wasn't optional for us at that time. But now that she's gone, once we get the living room painted, then we will decide what color of a rug we would want to put down. And since there is still three of us, we do all have to agree on what the theme of this room will be, since this is a common area. All right, let's get behind this sofa before we head over to the shelves. And everything on the shelves are all things that my mother-in-law loved. So we are going to make the shelves dedicated to her. But there is so much up there, we are not going to be able to use it all. So I'm just going to pick out the things that I know that she really loved and things that made sense together. And the rest I'll just put away. And as you can see here, the entryway to the kitchen is just in an odd spot. So I wanted to get the sofa off the wall and keep it center with the fireplace, but it just did not work out because our TV is too big and the sofa was just way too close. So I have to put it against the wall here and kind of blocking portions of the entry to the kitchen. So it is what it is. It's not perfect, but it works for us. This is where I start putting the things back on that little side table, and I just don't like it. So it is not going to stay like this. And as you can see, little August still hanging out with me, looking all sweet and innocent, and he's not. All right, finally moving on to these shelves. So everything on these shelves has pretty much just been shoved up here for us to decorate later, which is going to be now. When we went through my mother-in-law's room, we took out all the things that she really loved and stuck them on these shelves to be decorated. So I'm going to do the best I can to make little vignettes of all the items, trying to keep like items together, just making it look more cohesive. She was a big part of this household, and we wanted to make this a focal point of her memory. So I'm taking everything out and I'm going to put it on this little folding table so I can kind of organize it, see what we have, and I'm going to try to put as much as I can back on the shelves. However, there was a lot, so I did have to edit a few things out. But in the end, I think it came out pretty nice. So there was a lot of mugs. So all the ones that say mom on them, I'm going to put on this shelf with her urn. And she really loved rainbows. So I'm going to put this big jar that has a little rainbow on it. I thought it gave a little bit of height and it looked really nice with these mugs. These glass ornaments are hard to tell what they are, but they're little angels. So there was two glass angels and then a little metal one, a candlestick holder. So I put all the angels on that next shelf. And then she has a bunch of little stuffies that I can't remember what they're called, but I know they're quite popular. But they're all from the cartoon Winnie the Pooh. So I'm putting all the Winnie the Pooh items down here. And then for the top shelf, there was a couple of things I tried, but I didn't like it. And so I tried grabbing from the shelves on the other side of the TV, but I didn't like that either. Here are the books I grabbed from the other shelves, but it just didn't look good. So I end up not even putting those up at all. But I found another little ceramic rainbow, so I put that up there. But it's an item that you have to hang on the wall, so I grabbed these little bookends. They're really heavy, so I kind of leaned it against one of the bookends. I found a few decorative apples that I put at the top, and we will call that one a day. So on this side, there was a lot of small trinkets. So I, again, took everything down, kind of assessed what was up there. And there was a few things up on the very top that you can't see on the screen of some rabbits, some large rabbits, which I had brought down. And then I also noticed that the shelves weren't equal to the shelves on the other side. So I had to fuss with the top shelf to bring it up a little bit to match the other side. So you're going to see me change a few things quite a bit. And this is when I realized that the shelf was still not high enough. So I had to fix it yet again. So that bottom shelf there where I have the rabbits, there is a hole there with a bunch of wiring. We're not sure what all the wiring goes to, probably the surround sound that used to be up before we bought the house. And it turns out that rabbit covers it perfectly. So I end up keeping all the rabbits on the bottom shelf here. And then for this shelf, I put all the little decorative boxes up here and also these little ceramic flowers. And then the next shelf, I put all the smaller little trinkets together in little vignettes. On one side, I put all the little animal ceramics, and on the other side were a bunch of little homemade items. Looked like maybe they were Ryan and his sisters when they were kids. And then for the center, I put little filler. There was that little sign and then a wall art that I put at the bottom at first, but then it looked like it just was too empty, so I put that up onto that second shelf. And as you can see, I kept trying all these little items, but it just didn't look good. So I ended up on that sign and the little wall art down below. And this last shelf I just did not know what to do with it. There was still a lot left, and so I was trying all different items. None of them matched. So I ended up putting the remainder of the mugs up there, which were Disney mugs. So I made a little vignette of Disney mugs on the last shelf. And finally, I moved these nesting tables over here on this corner and put a few of the items that were on the shelves here. And now I'm finally finished. And do you remember what it looked like before? Boxes and boxes of stuff, things just thrown onto the shelves, and a whole lot of fur. Now the boxes have been relocated to where my sister-in-law can go through all of them. The shelves are nicely decorated in memory of my mother-in-law, and the whole room is clean and clutter-free. And if you made it this far, I am so grateful for you. Thank you for watching and supporting. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you haven't already, would you hit that like and subscribe button if you're not already subscribed? And saying hello in the comments really helps out my channel. I really love doing these videos for you. And I hope it has inspired you or motivated you to tackle a room in your home, or if you just enjoy this type of content. Oh, and happy Mother's Day to all my mothers watching today. And especially to my mom, I love you and I miss you so much. I know you're watching. And to everybody else, until next time, bye.